This is Money Talks.
Hi, my name is Ibukun Oyedeji, President CFA Society Nigeria. Join me and a host of other financial industry practitioners for Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria.
Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money. Hello everyone and welcome to Money Talks. Money Talks is brought to you by CFA Society Nigeria. Smart Uzechi is my name. Money Talks is a financial literacy program and is completely supported by CFA Society Nigeria. Today, my guest on the program is David Enilolobo. I hope I got that correctly. CFA FCCA. So I'll just stay away from that second name and call him David on the program so I don't get into trouble. David is an experienced finance professional with almost 2 decades of banking experience, spanning commercial banking, corporate banking, and treasury and global market divisions. He is highly proficient in asset and liability management, fixed income trading, FX trading, and treasury sales. He is the head Group Asset and Liability Management at Access Bank, where he manages the assets and liabilities of the Access Bank Group, including Nigeria and 15 other African subsidiaries, to ensure optimization of the net interest income while managing liquidity and interest rate risk on the banking group. David holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Ibadan, an MBA Finance from the University of Lagos, a Master's in Global Finance from City University of London, United Kingdom, and a Certificate in High Performance Leadership from Cornell University, New York, in the USA. Additionally, he's a proud CFA charter holder, a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, and possesses the ACI Dealing Certificate. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome, I'll try for one more time, David Enilolobo. Pardon me, this is the toughest Yoruba name I've had to pronounce. At one time I said this cannot be a Yoruba name, but it is Yoruba.
Yes, it is.
So it's
David Enilolobo.
Enilolobo.
Yes.
Enilolobo.
Yes.
Enilolobo. Okay, that's it. That's some schooling. Enilolobo. The person that has gone has come back.
Yes.
And indeed, we left last week, so we're back. We were not here last week because of the Salah holiday. So all of us that went away last week, we are back now. So our guest actually says it all. You're welcome, David. Good to see you.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look good. Your portfolio is very big, but you look so relaxed. You don't look like somebody who is taking all of this, at this time.
Well, we thank God for everything.
Yes, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And this evening we're going to be discussing personal asset and liability management. You need to hear this one. The program is loaded this evening. We want you to participate. You can call the telephone number 0700-923-923-923. That's the number to call us, 0700-923-923-923. You can also call 0802-054-4484. That's 0802-054-4484. Or just send us a message on WhatsApp, 0817-313-6193. That's 0817-313-6193. If you also like to send a voice note, you go ahead and do it right there. So David, let's begin quickly by looking at these two terms, asset and liability. Even those who don't know what the meaning is, they always bandy the words around. So let's start from there. What is an asset and what is a liability?
All right, thank you. But let's start on the lighter note.
Yes.
So this question was asked that how would you classify your wife? Would you say your wife is an asset?
Asset or a liability?
Oh, a liability. So that answer was still, trying to find.
We're still on it.
We're still on it. But really, an asset is an economic resource that an individual or a corporation own or holds for future economic benefit, right? And this benefit can be tangible. When we say tangible, we talk about interest income, dividend, or financial return that you get. It can also be intangible, When we say intangible, we talk about the comfort you get from holding those assets. When we talk about liabilities, we are talking about an obligation or something that you have to pay in the future, right? And generally, people see asset as good and liability as bad.
Yes.
But as human being, you are going to have both asset and liability. So you need to manage the two of them together.
Yeah.
So in the banking world, we say you need to optimize your balance sheet to enhance your net interest income.
Yeah.
But when it comes to personal asset and liability, you need to manage both of them to increase your wealth or your net worth. Because your net worth is what is left after you subtract your liabilities from your assets. So the gain you have is in managing both efficiently is increasing your net worth.
Wow. So for the layman, he can say is the good and the bad, what I own and what I owe.
Yes.
For the layman, just for the person out there.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now we can understand better when you say your wife, is it an asset? is she an asset or a liability? Some people can say asset, some can say liability, and some can say the two, both of them, if there's anything like that.
It depends.
Well, that's on a lighter note, actually. So, David, you actually manage the assets and liabilities of Access Bank. It's a global brand. What types of personal assets and liabilities do we have out there?
All right. So just like a bank, right? An individual will typically have the traditional balance sheet, and your balance sheet will, of course, compose of your assets and your liabilities. When we talk about an individual now, your assets would typically include, or you can break them down into two: non-earning assets and any assets. When we talk about non-earning assets, we talk about your cars, your mobile phones, your laptops, your TVs, your personal homes, your land, your gold, your personal assets. Those ones, they do not give you any return until when you sell them and you realize value. You also have any assets. The any assets are fixed deposits, commercial papers, treasury bills, bonds, those investments that they give you coupon, dividend, or daily interest every day, as the case may be. So those are the types of any assets that you have. But when we talk about the liabilities, right? Liabilities can be short-term or long-term. Your liabilities can be your rent, your mortgages, your leases, your car loans, your credit cards. Those are obligations that you actually have to pay in the future. So basically, that's how I can break it down on personal asset and liability.
So when you talk about, you said something about balance sheet right now.
Yeah.
As individuals, do I need to have a balance sheet? When do I need to prepare a balance sheet for myself to be able to gauge my personal assets and liabilities?
Yes, you sure need to do that.
Wow.
You need to have a list of your assets and your liabilities. Because if I ask
but not in a professional way anyway.
But okay, if I ask you now, smart, what's your net worth?
Yeah. From what you have said, I can just say, okay, the monies I'm owing.
Yeah, people think that net worth is what they have.
Yeah.
But really, you need to subtract what you owe from what you have.
What if you're not owing anybody?
Lucky you. Then you don't have any liabilities. Then that means your asset is your liability. But you need to keep track of all that you have. Your resources, your non-earning, any assets, you need to keep a track of what you have. And you don't need to call an expert to do that for you. You can do that on your Excel. Just write where your properties are, list them, try and value them. Then you have an idea of what you really
are worth.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Are there any other types of personal assets and liabilities you want to list out there?
Basically, on the general note, not getting it too complicated.
Yeah.
Not getting it too complicated. Let's just leave it like that.
Okay, having established that, how can one then, manage these personal assets that they may have? How do they manage them? Do they do that personally, or do they have to hire professionals to do that?
Okay, so first of all, to manage your personal assets, you need to know the financial stage of life that you are. That will give you an idea of what to do, right? For example, there are 7 stages, right? You have the education phase, where you're still in school, you're still studying, and basically all you have is just human capital, your skill that you're building. and they are not monetary. You can't really tie any money to them. Then you have the early career, where you're just starting your career, right? And that's when you're between age 21 and 35. You also have career development stage, that's 35 to 50 years old. And you have the peak accumulation stage, that's 51 to 60. You also have pre-retirement stage, that is few years before retirement. Then you have early retirement. So that's the first 10 years into retirement. Then you have late retirement. Late retirement is after 10 years of retirement.
Wow.
So the assets you have will be managed based on the financial, because the way I will manage my asset when I'm 70 years old will not be the same way I will manage it when I'm 35. Because at 35, I know that the Lord believes, I'm still going to live a long life. So I have to manage, But when I'm 80, do I face longevity risk?
Yeah.
But I don't want to save a lot of money, because I know I have just like
You're closer.
I'm closer.
Yes.
So how you manage will depend on that financial state. Also, it depends on the assets that you also have. For the non-earning assets, the way you manage them, it's different from the way you manage the earning assets. For the non-earning assets, when I talk about the cars, your mobile phones, your laptops, your clothes, your shoes, your designer shoes, your gold, they need to be kept very well. You need to preserve them so that they can provide the expected benefit for as long as possible. Then when purchasing a non-earning asset, you need to be sure that you go for durability. A lot of people think, because this thing is cheap, let me buy it now. Then the next month is bad, you have to buy again. And of course, in the face of rising inflation, prices keep going up. So you need to make sure that you go for durability, something that can last long. Then you need to protect this asset with insurance. When we talk about your car, your houses, they need to be protected by insurance. A lot of people don't take this thing seriously until when you face the danger, when you face the trouble. That's when you can imagine you didn't insure your house and there's a fire or there's a burglary, right? You're going to be under immense stress. But if you insure them, you're going to relax.
Peace of mind.
You'll be happy because you know that it's insured.
Yeah.
Remember those days where people used to say, "Don't worry, it's my car. Insurance has covered it."
Yes.
Right. So you also need to insure those assets, right? So why non-earning assets are important for our daily living? They must be managed effectively. You must also avoid putting too much money in non-earning assets. So you need to ask yourself, why do I need 3 cars? Right? Why do I need 3 phones? Why do I need plenty clothes, plenty designer shoes? Right? The money I save from buying these non-earning assets, I can actually invest them in treasury bills. I can invest them in bills. I can invest them in something that would increase my net worth. So you also need to be careful that you don't put all your eggs or all your money in non-earning assets and you have little earning assets. So for the earning assets, when we talk about earning assets, we're talking about your treasury bills, your fixed deposit, your bonds, assets that give you return, whether on a regular basis or a daily basis. For these ones, first of all, you need to set your financial goals. Setting financial goals is very important. You need to know why you are holding those assets. For what purpose are you holding them? Am I going to hold this asset for my child's school fees in 20 years? Then I know I need to buy bonds. Am I holding them for my rent in 1 year? I know I need to buy treasury bills. So the purpose of the asset, the future obligations that it's meant to take care of would
determine where you
put it. Right? Then asset allocation is very important. You must diversify your investment. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. And when you look at personal assets, a lot of people put their eggs in one basket. If I'm buying a share of a bank, I load that bank share. If I'm buying telecoms, I load on that. You need to spread them. And you must also have assets that can be easily turned to cash, whenever this is needed. Overall, you have to be careful what you invest in. You don't have to be greedy. Because if you go and chase investment with ridiculous returns, you end up losing more than you think you get. So such investments are usually pyramid scheme, scams. You think they offer you 50%, 30% returns, and you put all your money there and you lose them. So before you make any investment, please seek the support of an investment or wealth management professional in this regard.
In case you're joining us now, it's Money Talks brought to you by CFA Society Nigeria. Smart. Uzechi is my name, and of course, David. Is our guest.
I'm going to teach you how to pronounce that surname, and you pay me after the class.
David Enilolobo is our guest on the program this evening, and we're talking about personal asset and liability management. He's been a school right here. You can join the conversation now. You can call us on 0700 923 923 923. You can also call 0802 054 4484, or just send us a message on WhatsApp 0817 313 6193. You can send us a voice note as well to the number on WhatsApp. And this is Ekwi. Ekwi says here, good evening, Smart. Please ask your guest if I can deposit money into my fixed deposit account. Duration is for 3 months. So maybe you just answer Ekwi right away. Say, can I deposit money in my fixed deposit account? The tenure is for 3 months.
Yes, you can. You could do 1 month, 3 months. You could do any tenure. So approach your bank and your relationship manager, and I'm sure this will be done.
All right. The last question you answered, I'm sure you were just talking about record keeping right there.
Yes.
So let's go to how accurate record keeping can actually benefit somebody's financial planning. Does it have any correlation?
Yes, and this is what a lot of people don't do, right? You don't keep track of your assets and your liabilities, and at times you even forget what you forget what you own or what you are owing, right? So it's very important that you're able to keep your assets, a record of your assets and liabilities. And like I said, you don't need anything too big. An Excel will just be just fine, right? Listing those assets and perhaps putting a monetary value to them. Then you can actually know your net worth at every point in time. Then you can ask yourself, is this what I really want? Then if that's not what you want, then you need to manage your liabilities. You need to manage your expenses so that you can increase your net worth. And like I said, keeping this record gives you a clear financial picture of your financial position, right, or condition. You can at any point in time look at your personal balance sheet, right, and determine where the efficiencies are. And this also helps in proper financial planning, and also helps you to make informed decisions.
And another message here says, hello, this is Remy. Please ask David if treasury bill is as safe as it is said to be, considering the current economic situation. Would this be a wise investment decision at this time? Treasury bills.
Yes. So treasury bills is risk-free, right? And that's because if you invest in treasury bills, you're investing in the federal government of Nigeria, right? And of course, they control Naira, and they will not default. So
somebody will say, invest in federal government of Nigeria now. This one dollar is just doing topsy-turvy.
Treasury bills are very, very safe. They are risk-free, right? And that's why the return is also very low when compared to other investment, because it's free. It's risk-free, I should say.
Yeah. So it's advisable to do that.
Yes, but like I said, if you want to invest, you need to ask yourself for what tenor, for what purpose, right? If I'm investing in T-bills, it will mean that maybe I have an obligation in a few months' time, so I just need to invest for that period. But if I need to pay my child's school fees maybe in 20 years, right, I might just go for bonds. And so it depends on what you really want at that point in time. It's not a black-head outsider, just go and invest. So you need to check what you want, check your assets, make sure that they're properly allocated, because really you need to have short-term assets and long-term assets, and make sure you have the proper blend.
You talked about insurance a while ago.
Yes.
Records show that many Nigerians will not take insurance except it is obligatory. Maybe the law mandates it. Yeah. Like you see somebody can buy a Benz and they'll do third-party insurance, just so that maybe I will not catch him. Just to stay away. Except the government says you must do this thing.
Yes.
Naturally, we prefer to cover our vehicles with the blood of Jesus.
Wow.
or to put a sticker there that angels on guard.
Wow.
I stay away. They don't do that. So can you tell us?
Oh, I'm a lawyer.
Yes, I'm a lawyer. So when you see my sticker, you just give me some space like that. So tell us, what role actually does insurance play in managing personal assets?
All right. So I think I talked about it briefly when I started, right? So one of the ways you can protect your assets is by insurance, right? And insurance helps to replace or reduce the financial loss you can suffer on your assets, like home. You could have a fire incident, you could have a burglary, but when they are properly insured, then you know that you are protected from that. It will mitigate or reduce that loss, unlike when you're not covered or protected. Then, in case you suffer any financial mishap, for example, you're on the road, Lagos can be very crazy. Somebody comes to beat your car. You don't need to come down and be fighting the person to say, and you can imagine if it's a new car or a luxury car.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't want to involve yourself in all of those kind of road rage. So you just move on because you know that insurance has protected you. So having an insurance will safeguard your wealth, right? And when I say it will safeguard your wealth, it will protect your net worth, and protect you against any loss to the financial assets. It allows you to focus on other financial things or other things that can help you make money than worry when a bad event happen. So insurance is actually very important in managing assets.
Maybe that explains why some persons, you hit their car, they just come down, they just look at it, and they drive off. And some people say, that man is a nice man.
They just collect your details. What's your name, your phone number?
Wow.
So that I can feel, I can tell the insurance company, this is the person that hit my car. Give me your name and let me go.
Wow. So
you don't need to stress over those little things, and you don't need to worry. And guess what? The money you pay is not really a lot, right? So compared to the benefit you can get when this event happens.
Some people just say they will be careful, they just be careful, and they'll be careful because they say, if I pay this money now, and I will still be careful, and nothing happens, insurance will take my money.
Well, you won't know until when it happens.
All right, but do people still have problems with making claims on insurance companies when they have issues? Because in the past, people will tell you that these insurance companies, when you see them, is when they're trying to sell the policy to you. Once you buy the policy, if they have to redeem this policy, problems now set in.
So I think it's improved over the period, right? Insurance companies are more professional, and also I think the issue you also had is people don't really read their policy, right? When they sell an insurance to you, don't ask the right question to say what does this policy cover? What are the things that I'm allowed to do? What I'm not allowed to do? So you actually need to ask questions to say, okay, this insurance policy that you're selling to me, when does it take effect? Must I be the one driving the car, or somebody else can drive the car?
Yeah.
Can I hit somebody, or somebody must hit me? How does he have? When does it happen? Or when am I covered? So you need to ask the proper question. But I think generally it's a lot better now because you have a lot of professionals and you have a lot of competition out there. So a lot better compared to what you used to have in many years back.
So what are the risks actually inherent when people don't manage their assets and liabilities effectively? Anything to lose?
Good question, Smart. Good question. The risks are numerous, right? Not managing your personal assets and liability can lead to financial sickness.
Wow.
Or what I call financial stress, right? Which can also impact your mental health and your overall well-being. When you don't manage your personal asset and liability very well, it will amaze you that can cause heart attack.
Wow.
Right? Or sleepless nights when you can't sleep because of sleep. Because first of all, you are not taking note of your liabilities. You have an obligation that is due, and you are not even taking note of it. You do not even know, or you've gone to borrow money more than you can repay. Right? You've seen a lot of people borrowing money for things, not even watching their assets or their income streams, whether it can cover or make repayments when they are due. And when you need to make payments and you cannot make those payments, you are definitely going to have sleepless nights and you're going to have heart attack. It depends on whichever the case may be. Poorly managed liabilities can lead to debt accumulation, right? And you see a lot of people running at skater because you are not planning them. A lot of people, when you want to pay rent, you now see them going, I have rent due next week. But really, your rent is something that
you had a year.
You had a year to plan.
Yeah.
But now you're running up and down. Like, oh, my landlord is chasing me. I need to pay next week, right? It can lead to harassment from creditors, and most times legal problems. Not managing your asset and liability, not managing your asset very well can also lead to their damage and deprive you from the opportunity that you need to get from them. So really, the benefit of managing your asset and liability you can never say enough of it. It's a mess. It's numerous. You need to manage them. You need to take note of them, and you need to keep track of them, and you need to manage them very well so that you don't go through this financial stress. And there's no sickness as bad as sickness caused by money.
Money sickness is the worst sickness, actually. So, David, this is my last question for you, and I appreciate if you can answer just in 1 minute. I know it's a challenge. Let's talk about technology now.
Okay.
The world is even talking AI, at this time. But tell us very, very briefly how technology and financial tools, you mentioned actually some of them, how they can assist people in managing their personal assets and liabilities effectively. Does it have a place?
Yes, it does. It does. There are actually many financial tools available now, thanks to technology, that you can actually use to make investments. You can initiate standing
orders,
to meet your loan repayment, to say, okay, on this day I have this loan repayment due, debit my account and move to this money, to this account. You can also say, on this day, debit my account and move to this investment account, right? You have all of those things available. You also have many investment apps out there, right, that are available for you to invest, maybe in Nigeria offshore. You can, invest in US stocks, invest locally as well, So those platforms are available using technology and using AI. All I'll just say is you need to be careful of whatever platform you're using for your investment to ensure that it has the required regulatory license from maybe the Standard Bank of Nigeria or the Security Exchange Commission.
Wow. Thank you very much, David Enilolobo. Right? I think that's the one that everybody's laughing at me in the studio here. Well, it is well.
I'll teach you how to pronounce it after the
Yes. David has been our guest on the show this evening, and we've been discussing personal asset and liability management, and I'm very sure that you were well schooled right here. Many thanks to those who contacted us via the WhatsApp platform. We appreciate you. We'll be back with Money Talks by this time next week on this same dial. Meantime, David, thank you so much for coming. It's been a lot of education. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's our package for today. Till next time, make sure that you learn that you put into practice how to manage your assets and liabilities effectively. I'm Smart Uzechi.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Money Talks, hosted by the CFA Society Nigeria. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube at CFA Society Nigeria. Follow us for more financial insight and updates. Keep a date with us next time.